What's up, guys? We back. Thank you. Oh,
We
throw them
four.
balls up. Throw them
Yeah.
For the
balls up.
foes
Throw them balls up.
from the
Throw them
foe.
balls up.
It's
Fold
the four
up,
for four
fold
for me.
down. Throw them balls up. We still in
The
Four for
four for
season
four.
four.
one. You already know. So this is the
That brings me
pre-snap
back to that
read.
time, Jerry, where I got y'all a four for four and got y'all
Yep.
water.
We asked for a drink. That's not the four and the 4 for 4. That's 3 for 4.
Okay, let me tell my story though, Ron. Listen, so
All right.
first semester, me, Jerry, and Jared, shout out to Jay Brown.
JB.
Um, we wanted lunch or whatever food before class started, and I said I'm going to Wendy's. So they was like, Rob, get us a four for four. I said for sure. Right now, prior to me going to Wendy's, I had a conversation about water, like, and they was like, "Oh yeah, all we drink is water. Like, we on water, 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 water. We don't drink that sweet stuff, So I'm like, okay. I go to get a four for four. I ask, the lady. I was like, "Does a drink come in that? Whatever, whatever." And it was like the lady was like, "Okay, a drink come with it." And I was like, "Okay, well, they said they wanted water or they only drink water, so I get them water and I get me a lemonade." So I get now, mind you, if we hadn't had the conversation about water, I swear I would have at least asked or got them a lemonade like I got. You know what I'm saying? But they was mad because they got a water with their 4 for 4. But I was like, y'all could have at least said something. They didn't even they put everything in their order, bro. They said they wanted a junior bacon cheeseburger, spicy
Mm-hmm.
nuggets. When they had the spicy nuggets, barbecue sauce. I got one of them honey mustard. They gave me all the orders except the drink. So I was like, oh, they must want water because we just talked about it. So that's how I
Dog.
feel, and
Dog.
that's what I'm going with. Because
Dog.
y'all
We
should have said y'all wanted a drink.
dog. We got the 3 for 4 instead of a 4 for 4. She up $2 right now. She up $2 on us. Dog.
First of all,
Everybody
and I'm
knows
not getting that dollar back because I drove my car, my gas,
that was the
used
plan the
my voice.
whole time. That was the
Okay,
plan the whole
so
time.
y'all gonna drink that water and be hydrated. Okay, I'm the one who got
Plan
the
the whole
sweets.
time.
You know.
I
Anyway, I
Dog.
just
feel
wanted to
you.
say that. But week four, pre-snap read. But yeah, we should take polls. Next show. We should start doing polls for our audience
Oh yeah,
so we can see.
definitely, definitely. We're gonna have to, cause shoot, we growing as a unit. We can call ourselves a
A
unit. You
community,
know,
a
shoot,
unit, a group, a
we
team.
should because Putin out here trying to. Whew, shit, we gotta have some units out here. Shoot, G
Mm-hmm.
unit,
All
something.
right. Okay. What's first topic? First topic. What we
All
talking about?
right, let's go. Let's go. Let's get into this thing, man. Let's get into it.
Listen, guys, Art Briles has resigned from Grambling State. But what's interesting is one, he was just hired 4 days prior. And he resigned, and his statement was basically saying like he didn't want to cause a distraction. And he values the team, the players, and all of that. But if you guys remember back in 2016, he was fired from Baylor under sexual assault scandals. So I don't know if that was because, whatever the distraction was, did it cater to that? Because they didn't give any information like on the news, on Twitter, on ESPN, whatever. They just said, he's resigning. But if we're looking at his track record, I'm one. My question is, why was he hired in the first place if he's already going through a scandal? And then number two, what exactly did he resign for? Because I don't buy the distraction piece. I don't think that that's it. I think it's a little bit deeper into that, and they're not getting into it just yet. What do y'all think?
Well, I don't know. I think it might have played into it because he sees the things going on at Grambling. He sees all the good stuff they got going on, and I think he was kind of assuming that the press would kind of come come over towards him and take away from what Grambling is actually trying to produce and show. That may
No.
be true or may not be true, but I think it's a little bit bigger than in his head than what it actually is as far as the media attention. It's definitely a huge scandal, but I don't think the media would have been as far as focused on him versus focused on the team.
Yeah, and I guess that's why I'm just like his language of tweeting whatever his message was, the whole piece is the distraction, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
especially
Mhm.
when you were just hired 4 days prior, like you ain't even got really into it yet. You probably don't even have an email address. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what was the conversation between him and the administrators that they didn't iron that out? You know what I'm saying? It just seems very sketch to just be like, okay, hasn't even really started working with the team. Boom, 4 days later, you're out. So, and it's him stepping down. It's not Grambling, it's him. So it's like, mm, it's weird. It's very sketch.
M-
Giving
Man,
already scandal.
He might have something already lined up. It could be something better
Maybe.
for him.
I don't know. Yeah.
maybe, but Gremlin got a lot of stuff going on as far as just like their football program in general.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like this. Coaches only know so much.
Yeah.
They don't know everything. So for him to be like fully exonerated as far as like all the stuff that happened at Baylor, like he has no charges. Like he's
Hmm.
a free man,
Hmm.
which 50% of people can't understand. Okay, that's cool. Then other 50%, it's like okay, like that's kind of messed up because it still
Right.
happened underneath him. So I'm thinking people was like didn't they didn't give him a second. They didn't give him a second chance. Like
Hmm.
I feel like if it was a black coach and he came to Grambling, they would have kind of swept it underneath the rug. But
Mm,
I feel like since it's like a white coach and he coaching at Grambling and he didn't come from Grambling, I feel like a
right.
lot of people like backfired. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like messed up because we give like if we go to a Division 1 school, we want our people to get a chance, and we kind
Hmm.
of did the same thing that D1 PWI school would do to us, and we just did it to
Yeah.
him. So that's
Right.
how I feel about that whole situation right there. I just want to give him a chance. Like
Yeah.
if they would have lost, fine. Then
Right.
come
But
with
See, I guess
all the junk
that's
talking.
where I'm at with it as well. It's like y'all knew what y'all were getting into prior to. You know what I mean? Like you hired him for a reason. So that's where I'm just like, if that's the issue, why even hire him in the first place for him to turn around and resign on y'all? Like that's where I'm like, there's something that's missing. It don't make sense because I feel like going off of your example, Ron, like if it were us, if a black coach, would be hired by a PWI with all of our, situations or prior experiences or our infidelities and all that other stuff, I feel like one, we wouldn't have been hired. Number two, we would have been fired. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Hmm.
I feel like that's where the line is being a little bit obscured. But hey, good luck to him and all he's doing in his life, whatever going on. I do believe in chances, you know what I'm saying, especially if he's on the right path, but you just never know these days, especially around that type of situation. Like that's tough.
somebody gonna
Definitely.
hire that
Hmm.
man. Because I mean,
Somebody
from his
somewhere. I
his
mean, Grambling
resume,
did.
like, well, of course,
Grambling
I feel like honestly, I feel like he might have something else up his sleeve. Something that
did.
may
Yeah.
be better for his resume than better for his resume for him. As far as what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe a Division 1 program that's bigger. Than or for him a better look. But I honestly, because his resume, Baylor, amazing program. When they came up, I want to say I don't know exactly what year it was, but they were doing well for a good period of time. So he has
Yeah.
a pretty good resume.
That's true. That is true. Well, on some lighter news, Malachi, shout out to Malachi Wideman, wide receiver from Jackson State University, has secured an NIL deal with Mogul, MOGL. So, once again, Jackson State giving their athletes the headlines, the exposures, what they need, right? I mean, of course, this is more on the athlete. I feel like Mogul definitely did their part on securing, Weidman's, commitment and just showing up for him on that scale. If you guys don't know, Mogul was founded back in 2017 or maybe a little bit later. But it was
Hmm.
founded by a former quarterback from Notre Dame. His name is Brandon Wimbush, and he founded it alongside his one of his friends, Aiden Sile. And they just came up with this, this organization that it is created for athletes by athletes. Like that's their whole mantra. Basically making sure that they're empowering their athletes who they're signing with, giving them opportunities to monetize their name, their image, likeness, the whole NIL experience. So it's a really great, opportunity for them to also, build up their platform, get them some more athletes. More athletes are going to probably come their way, knowing that, Jackson State is again in the headlines with their athletes and what they're doing. So I applaud Mogul. Go Malachi, go Brandon, go Aiden, all of them.
Yeah, Malachi Wyman, he's a two, like how I said. I don't know how to say. He played basketball and he played football. How would you say that, Jerry?
Two
I
sport
can't. I can't
athlete.
even
Oh
say.
Two sport
yeah.
Uh,
athlete.
yeah, two
Yeah.
way
A
athlete.
dual
So
sport athlete.
like,
Yeah.
Dual sport athlete. Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
dual
Yeah.
sport. Yeah, yeah. So like to me, that's amazing, especially for a dual sport athlete. He can give you the best of both worlds. He just don't give you the football side. He can give you the basketball side, just like their coach Deion Sanders,
Yeah.
best of both worlds. He gave you baseball and he gave you football. So
Right.
that's really amazing for them. I'm proud for him.
Yeah.
Get that
And
money.
this
Get
and this
that
isn't
money.
even Weidman's. This isn't even Weidman's first deal. He actually got another deal. This is his second
Yeah.
deal,
Yep.
because he joined
Yep.
with Legacy Leagues NFTs program. So,
Hmm.
and that was back in January. So he's just baby. I really wish that the NIL was existed before, because just imagine like all of our pro athletes that we see today and and all the money that they're making right now as pro athletes. Imagine those same top tier athletes in college. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, mm, y'all knew what y'all was doing. Y'all knew what y'all were doing. Y'all had to wait and spice this
Yeah.
thing up.
Yeah.
Sugar and
Imagine,
spice in there.
imagine all the like Reggie Bush and like the
Yes.
Woo.
Tim Tebow's and the Derrick
Yes.
Henrys, the
Cam
Johnny Money
Newton.
Manziel,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jadavion Clowney. Like just
Yeah.
imagine those players, getting those. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You got the
College
Odell
was crazy back
Beckham.
in the day, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it would have
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
crazier. So they knew what they was
Right.
doing.
I'm saying they knew what they was doing, but still shout out to Malachi. Awesome job again securing a second major deal as a collegiate athlete. That's amazing. Again, hope Mogul gets some more people, signing on, because it
Hmm.
does well for them too. That's their sustainability. Like he said, athletes for athletes. So they're just constant creating that cycle. Great job.
I
Black
got one thing to
empowerment.
say for young Malachi. Get
Definitely.
paid, young man. Get paid.
Here we
Get paid.
go.
Hey. Hey, you
Uh-huh.
already know it. Shoot,
Yes,
Robert, I got
because
a question
they're
for
gonna be using
you.
this man's name. Yeah,
I got a
what's up?
question.
Exactly.
For lady sports, like who do you
Mm,
see as far as like HBCU goes? Like who do you see getting that next NIL deal for females? Because there's a lot of males getting, you know, NIL deals, and plus it's a National
yeah.
Women's Month. Yeah, so like who do you see on the
Yes,
forefront
National
of
Women's Month.
getting that next deal as far as a female?
You know, um, it's really hard for me just because like I'm so indulged in my sport of gymnastics. Again, shout out to college gymnastics and us being able to one make history, Fisk University being the first HBCU to add, but still trying to push their NCAA's to be there. It's hard because I'm in a rock and a hard place because I feel like my sport doesn't get enough recognition as is. So just being in our sport and then also being a like in the woman athletics, it's like, ooh, I'll be having my bias because I can choose a bunch of different women on the collegiate athletic, like gymnastics side that I'm like boom, 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 but they
Mm-hmm.
don't have it at HBCU. So I think just going on the basketball side, we talked about that a little bit. The athlete, she Aisha, let me go and check what her stats are right quick
You talking
because
about
I
the girl
watched
from Jackson State?
Jackson State. Yeah, I watched her play, and
Yeah,
let me tell you,
Aisha.
nah, she's going places just athletically. Not even just thinking of like her name and her image. It does, I feel like it makes a little bit more credibility and exposure when you have a top tier athlete, getting these major deals. It's one
Mm-hmm.
thing to just have an athlete who's just on the roster that's just having a great rapport or maybe knew some people with companies and it's like, oh, okay, let's just help you out here. But it's another to have an athlete that actually has the statistics, has the accomplishment, and then showing up game for game. That's what we want to definitely see. And I think Aisha definitely deserves that as far as getting her a deal. I don't know if she already has one. Does she already have one? Because if she doesn't, then that's kind of like bad on these companies.
It may be like a mom and pop type of deal, or something like
Yeah,
that. Because I know one running back from, I think he's from Norfolk. He got 13 NIL deals, and they're like small deals though, like
yeah,
in the community. Yeah, that's what I said. 13. He
yeah.
he got like 13 or
Good.
12, and but they're in the community though. They're not
Hmm.
like major NIL
Yeah.
deals. Just like Hunter, he got a NIL deal with a coffee brand in Jackson, Mississippi, and it's black
Mm.
owned. The dude went to Jackson, so like that was his like first official deal. You know, shoot.
Yeah.
If I
That's
was the
dope.
marketing team, I'd be like, if you want to get roast, go to Travis.
Right. No, it does. It does definitely come down to that, for sure. But yeah, her, I think we said Aisha. No, Amisha. That's her name. Amisha. Forgive me. That's
Mm-hmm.
her name. Amisha from Jackson State definitely deserves that. She's been rocking it. I think our ladies definitely in totality, not even just speaking of deals, I feel like they just need more recognition, especially from the HBCU side. Just all across boards,
Yeah.
all sports. We're thinking about track. We're thinking about our volleyball women. Shout out to our volleyball teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just by being a collegiate coach, I'm just starting to get more in depth in like other collegiate sports and watching volleyball. That that is entertaining. Like,
It
and I
is.
will say that these ladies, honey, like the power, the strength that they are experiencing and portraying in each of their games, I want to play volleyball at this point. So it's just like one of those things of us, giving the limelight to these athletes in totality. And I feel like definitely our women, our HBCU females, they need that. They need that for sure.
Definitely, definitely.
Yep.
Shoot.
And speaking of some nice recognition and some accomplishments from our FAMU family, FAMU swept Grambling State at the HBCU
Mm.
Classic this past weekend. They won all three of their games, leading all three of their games. So shout out to them for doing an amazing job. They played this game in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I don't even think that they lost against Gremlin last year in addition. So I think this is like a second year winning streak for them. But I just know
Ooh.
for this weekend, it was a sweep. Like Gremlin didn't have a chance at all. So
Grambling
shout out to
taking
FAMU.
L's.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
this
yeah.
is a yearly sweep. Is that what we're saying?
That's what
Or
I'm understanding that they have definitely showed up and showed out
hmm.
against Grambling every year as far as I'm concerned. So go Rattlers, but also come on,
Mm-hmm.
Grambling, step it up.
Shoot.
Get in there.
But
So yeah, yeah, yeah. That was good for
base
them.
but baseball is a game of it was a game of pitching. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
pitching and hitting. So like
Yeah.
you can just tell just by with the sweep, we have better pitchers and we have better hitters in the batter box. Shout out
Yeah.
to all the coaches that really get them boys prepared, especially on the road too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Going to Georgia and holding it down. Because they could have got lost in the sauce for real. As far as playing in a major league setting and knowing scouts are going to be there and knowing this is my chance to prove to go to the next level because baseball I feel like baseball is the hardest sport out of all the sports we talk about because it's literally hand-eye coordination.
Right.
And if you don't have that, then it's going to be real tough for you to play baseball because everybody can hit a fastball, everybody can hit those certain type of balls, but when it comes to that curveball, that sinker, and
Yeah.
those balls like that, those balls are hard to hit. That's why
Right.
I ain't playing baseball because
And to do that, like, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row, like, that's and baseball is a long game. Like, not even I mean, I've only been a spectator when it comes to baseball, and I know for me, I'm one of those fans that's like, "When is the 5th inning? When is the 6th inning?" Because that's what I'm coming in for. A 9-inning game, I'm coming in because I know it's about to be drawn out because it takes its time, but, I just see that, FAMU actually not even from last year, but this is a 4 winning streak against Grambling State during this classic. So
Mhm.
they are 4-0 against Grambling State at the Ralph Garr Classic. So go Atlas, Grambling,
Let me
y'all
start
gonna
off by
Grambling
saying,
just
do a little something, something.
the first game they were down 2-0.
Yeah,
I think it was at the end of the second inning. So they came
yeah.
back the first game and ended up winning that game. And from there, they were just like, yo, keep our foot on their neck. And that's amazing. So congrats to FAMU. It's
Foot
huge.
on the neck.
man, Grambling just taking L's. They
No, but
one of they coach
they
gone.
are getting the deals. They getting better deals.
The baseball taking L's. Shoot, fam, you done beat up on them in football.
And, and we'll do it again.
Mm.
Man, come on. Grambling supposed to be the powerhouse now in the SWAT. We just fam, you just came in the SWAT now. Shoot, we had
Just
like
stepped
we've
on
been here
in.
for 10 years.
Well,
Just stepped right in, blast.
they need to get another coach since that young man
Shoot.
not there no more. So maybe once they get this new coach, we'll see what's going on for this year. I'm excited to see the season and how it's going to pan out for sure. Especially since we're going to go back to some type of normalcy. Um, you know, a lot of the teams are still experiencing some COVID restrictions and stuff like that from last year. So I think going into this year, now that we're kind of getting back to normal and having some better seasons, better trainings, I think it should be a great season. So hopefully they do well.
It's a good time to go back to because a lot of hype around all of these schools. So when you
Yeah,
open back up, I'm sure a lot of these stadiums are going to sell great on tickets.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we're talking about the baseball team. Shout out to FAMU softball team for beating Florida State.
Yeah,
That's
Ooh,
right across the street. They went
it's
over
always a
there.
nice to beat a
Yeah, they
FSU.
they lost the first game. I don't
it
think it
sure
was by
is.
much, but they came back the second game, regroup. You know,
Yeah,
they put that bat over their shoulder and start. One girl hit a home run. So
Mm,
I
shout
know that's
out
mm.
to
right.
FAMU
He
softball
said,
girls. They're really pushing it. They're really doing good. Um, shoot, they out here and winning games and trying to make a name for themselves. So salute to
thanks.
the girls.
Yeah.
Just striking and striking again, I see.
I love that. Yes.
Oh,
Oh snap! Oh snap! So this commercial break is brought to you by Art by Elise. Man, she is an amazing talent from Miami, Florida. She went to FAMU. Man, all her description be down below, but you can tell the talent's there.
you're gonna get good quality art, man. But you know I had to put the best last. Fam, you, man, we out here. Description be down below. Thank you, Elise.
Yeah, USFL drafted a couple of HBCU athletes. You saw that, huh, Ron?
Yeah, so this league is very like small and it's going to be very competitive as far as, moving up to the next level. This
Yeah.
a lot of HBCU players got drafted to this league and it caught me by surprise cuz I was just looking, just looking like I usually do, trying to do more research, trying to, figure out what's what we're going to talk about next week and I saw this league come about and they drafted some HBCU players, so that's a good accomplishment for coaches and for
Mhm.
these schools, because all they pick from all schools. They just didn't pick from just strictly like Division 2 teams. They picking from
Right.
Alabama, Georgia. They picking kids that didn't get looked at the draft or wanted that second chance to play football again. So I know
Right.
Southern kids got drafted. A lot of
Mhm.
Alabama State, Jackson State, North Carolina, Central, teams like that. These kids are looking to continue their career and continue, playing football, the game they love to play because, NFL is so hard to get into. Once you make
Right.
other leagues like this, I ain't saying it's going to be much easier, but it helps
Yeah.
them to get to that next level.
Absolutely. Especially like you said, for those athletes that aren't getting recognized and not getting looked at, but they have, the same
Hello.
capability of you here, Jerry. They have the same capability of showing up and showing out, athletically, just as anybody else who is out there getting drafted or having the opportunity to get drafted. Um, and they're supposed to be starting this like this spring, right? It's going to start in like April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in April they're going to have 8 teams. They're going to divide them into two divisions, North and South. They have the Panthers, Michigan Panthers, gonna have the Birmingham Stallions, New Jersey Generals, Houston Gamblers, Philadelphia Stars, New Orleans Breakers, Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburghs are going to be, what is their mascot? Pittsburgh Maulers. That's different. And then the Tampa Bay Bandits. So that'll be awesome. But shout out
Not
to
the Tampa Bay
those
Bandits.
teams, Tampa Bay Bandits. So shout out to those teams. They already they completed their drafts in February, and so they're going to be opening up their team camp, their team training camp, March 21st. So that'll be awesome to see that another league out there. Is this going to be very similar to what the XFL was supposed to be, or
Mm.
do we know that information?
Uh, Jerry, I'll mute your mic right quick. And so the XFL is still, I don't know, it's at a standstill because they switched over with The Rock and all the WWE had it first, and now The Rock
Yeah,
has
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So yeah, it's gonna
yeah.
be a similar kind of thing to it. So
Okay.
like I know a couple of players from the XFL definitely got drafted or they got in the um free agency in the NFL, and I know like quarterback, a couple of safeties, and so on and so on. And but they did really good as far as being professional as far as the
Mhm.
XFL, being professional, being on time, looking presentable, and
Yeah.
the fans they were there. They were there. They showed up. They showed out. They got into they was in the game. Like I watched one Seattle game. I forgot what the team was called, but I literally watched that game from beginning to end. I was like, this is
Mhm.
good football. Plus, it's
Yeah.
the time where football is not played,
Right.
so they're
I
not
think
overlapping
that's very true.
the NFL. Because
Yeah.
if you're watching the NFL, you're not gonna go back to
Right. All your
see the X.
attention is definitely going to be on the NFL, right? Same thing with, we can even put into play collegiate football and how, although they're kind of in the same season, they're even not even on the same days, right? We dedicate our college football to like our Saturdays, right? And then our NFL footballs, we have Sunday, Monday, Thursday, right? I even think that like just coordinating how we know that we want the most exposure and the most support as possible. And we have some that are collegiate sports fans and we have some that are the same NFL fans. So I think that's a good point on how this USFL is going to be, right in that middle mark
Mm-hmm.
between, before preseason starts for NFL and before college gets going. How many games are they going to be playing? I wonder how
They
many
should be
games they're going
playing
to
at
be
least
playing.
about what 8 to I
8,
say 8 to
yeah.
5. Okay,
And then
yeah,
the championship game I see is going to be in July. So that'll be interesting to have a summer football championship.
yeah.
So,
That's almost football all year round. Like that's something that
yeah.
America never have soccer. They go
No.
all year round. So
Yeah, yeah,
when you dealing with the NFL and other colleges and other stuff like that, and when
yeah.
it's we got football all year round. Whew,
Right.
whew. So
Yeah, that is true.
that's amazing. What do you think about it, Jerry? As far as the atmosphere, as far as the players getting drafted and how they can go to the NFL.
Man, I think this is a great experience for them, a great time for them. I know a couple of my friends actually that I played ball with at Winston are getting a opportunity to play ball in the USFL. So I think it's amazing, man. A guy named Xavier Quick, he's going to, I want to say, Arizona. The Arizona, I can't remember the team name, but he's playing for the Arizona team. I saw a couple guys from FAMU, that offensive lineman 6'7". Dude is huge. Transfer from Auburn. He's going to do good. So I think he's going to give him an opportunity, to get a chance to play ball at a professional level and hopefully to get a shot at the NFL.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So I'm looking forward to, seeing these HBCU players play and how they
Mhm.
compete with, the Alabamas and the Georgias and, the USC's and the Notre Dames of the
Mm-hmm.
world.
Yeah.
So like to me I think this brings more excitement just for football fans,
Right.
It like, oh, this is something new and it's not you get to learn names and you get to have new household names and you get to pick your favorite team and pick your favorite player, so I think this is like exciting for real, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go them. Shout out to
it
the
is.
players, coaches, all them.
Man, I live by something, man, for myself, man. Football is football, so it don't matter what level you play it on. If you be good at football, you be good on any opponent. So they'll
Mhm.
do well.
All right, we're bringing it back to FAMU being in the limelight again, represented by the Pennzoil 400 this weekend at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jerry, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so NASCAR has been doing a great job of spotlighting HBCUs in the recent races. I know in Daytona they had a Gremlin car, so I'm assuming this will be the next step of them having the FAMU car. This is huge. I think NASCAR has been trying to get more minorities involved in the sport, not only watching the sport, working in the sport as well. I have a friend that works in at the headquarters in NASCAR. So they're doing a lot of reaching out to HBCUs for recruiting. They do a lot of recruiting for the pit crew. I was actually recruited for the pit crew. I didn't have the opportunity to join the pit crew, but they do a lot of recruiting at HBCUs, especially athletes. So I think this is huge for the NASCAR organization.
Yeah.
Sure, Jerry, I can
I
see
think
you
it
out
kind of
there in the
really
pit
helped.
crew.
Yeah, Jerry, I know that's right. But I was gonna say, yeah, last year we talked a little bit about, Bubba Wallace being in the conversation and having him support TSU. And also I think Jackson State was in that conversation as well. He had also Denny Hamlin. He's a NASCAR driver. He's going to be featured rather in the past. Jackson State, Tennessee State, Lemoyne, Mississippi Valley State. So yeah, like you said, it hasn't been, no uncommonness with NASCAR definitely engaging in the HBCU community. But it's just great to see kind of like that being consistent, moving forward, especially because we want our HBCUs to be, elevated and definitely getting the exposures that they need. So, but it's also interesting to see that whenever they are partnering like these NASCARs, because they have a plethora of different sponsors, especially when they show up on their cars. But it's also interesting that they'll create those conversations within their other sponsors to be able to pledge money to those said schools. Like, for instance, I know FedEx, after the conversation with Bubba Wallace, had ended up pledging $5 million to support
Wow.
schools in Mississippi and Tennessee. So it's like conversations like that. It's just like it's not just about the sport. Also, like we want to be able to cater to our athletes, our institutions, our community, our fan support, like all of those different things. And I feel like when you have the platform to be able to do that, which NASCAR definitely does, that's where it becomes, the sustainability and consistency that we want to see moving forward. So that way, it's not just a one in deal, right? We
Right.
talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We don't want it to be like one and done, one hit wonder. Okay, we gave y'all some money, now be quiet and go over there. Like we want it
Right.
to be, okay, let's create community, let's create partnerships, let's continue this business so that we're elevating and building up the people that are coming behind us, or that came before us, and paying homage to those people. So I think that's what really kind of struck me about the NASCAR and the drivers, in addition to the organization of NASCAR as well, being able to do that for our HBCUs. So I like it.
So what I really think
Definitely.
that what it's coming down to, I think they're trying to rebrand their image. Because I don't know if
Yeah.
we recall, but in the past couple of years, they had Confederate flags at the stadium. They started removing the Confederate flag, and then they started to
And we
kind of.
remember that.
What'd you say?
I'm saying we're going to remember that forever and
Yeah,
ever. So
right, right. So now they got Bubba Wallace in there, and then they got Michael Jordan has joined the organization that has his own car. Then we got HBCU students, HBCU cars. So they're trying to rebrand their image and to bring more minorities into the sport, to watch the sport, instead of it just being more so of a primarily white sport
hmm
being watched. So I think they're doing a good thing.
Yeah. And like just for I know I can test this for Jerry. Just like man, like we grew up around like Charlotte Motor Speedway. So, just like back in the day when NASCAR back in the day was very popular, then it kind of lost its luster and now it's coming
mm,
back up. Like we like even though we was black, we knew like who Jeff Gordon was. We knew who Dale Earnhardt Jr. was. We knew like uh uh Rowdy, they call him Rowdy Piper. Like we knew these household names. We knew who Danica Patrick was. Like we know
Mhm.
these household
shout
names
out
in
to them.
NASCAR. So why not try to come on the forefront and get black kids and get young black people into this sport where they can grow and show the other black kids and mentor black kids to, hey, this is fun. You know,
Yeah.
it's dangerous at the same time, but it's fun. It's something you can enjoy doing for the rest of your life. And by me growing up, I grew up watching a dirt track in Gaffney, and
Mhm.
like growing up to see that and going to NASCAR, actually looking at their facilities and okay, I can do this, but I don't know if I see, my color. I don't know if I see people like me. That was kind of feared people off of NASCAR. But now, like Jerry said, they're rebranding themselves. They're making sure, they fit all of the criteria as far as, all of all people of color, not just black people.
Yeah.
So they're trying to fit that mold where they can reach everybody. And, I think they need to partner up with some schools in their engineering department, hey, like
Yeah.
build this car, and show us that you got the talent to build this car. Show us you got the talent to, be a pit crew or at least race a car. Because,
Yeah.
once you bring like a college and NASCAR together, there's no stopping that. There's no stopping that intertwine as far as racing goes. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
just amazing for NASCAR and amazing for FAMU to have that symbol
Yeah.
right around the racetrack.
Right.
Man,
I also want to
so,
shout out Grambling as well. Grambling, their NASCAR is going to be, they just made history by having one of the cars that is going to be competing, Grambling, everything on it, and also a little bit of Puma. But John Cohen, who is the owner of the New York racing team, he's a Grambling alum. And he's only one of two of the minority owners in the entire NASCAR organization. And he just went on to say, like, this, it means a lot, even as an alum, right? You're representing HBCU at Daytona 500. Like, that is a huge deal. And then again, of course, we're bringing in, more exposure to the school as a whole, right? It just takes away just NASCAR. It's just like, who's Grambling State? What is Grambling State? How do I get to know about it? So I wanted to shout out to him too, because they're going to be racing the next couple weeks. So
I gotta give me a shout out to my home school, Winston-Salem State. They actually have a NASCAR sports management program there that one of my brother actually went through that program. But it's actually a kid now. He's I think he's a sophomore or a junior.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, he's looking to drive for NASCAR. I think his name is Raja like Caruth. I can't remember his name, but he's trying to race for NASCAR. So things are on the up and up for NASCAR with minorities.
Yeah, I did just see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So,
Rob.
see, that's like most of the cool part about it, as far as like you said, dude, they partner up. He probably never thought about NASCAR and like driving what it's like until they presented an opportunity to him. Then he was like, "Oh, I gotta take this, because I may be the first out my school, and when you the first, they put your name, your picture,
everywhere.
You may get named after a building."
No, seriously,
Yeah.
it could definitely get that deep, and that's exactly what we want. We want to be able to continue that mindset that history is never, stopping. It's ever repeated and ever, continuous. So that's dope. Yeah. Good for him. I hope they name him.
Right,
Name a building out of him.
And the whole program after him. Change the whole program name.
Thanks. Good for him.
Shoot. But that completes our HBCU talk today, guys. But we still waiting on the coach. The coach is coming. Kind of lagged off on the time, so he's still coming for us. But as far as me, as far as Robin and Jerry, what are your most concerns about HBCU sports? It's like, is it the money aspect? Is it we don't get enough recognition? What is it?
I will take this first because y'all know I have my passion. I think for me, it's just kind of getting out of that old traditional view on, if it's not our way, it's the highway, or this mindset of like, we don't want to anticipate or try to change too much, because then inevitably we will no longer hold our true values. And I say that, and I'm thinking of FAMU as athletic director, and the whole conversation on should we get our football players to get their last name on their jerseys. Jackson State, Deion Sanders, he made that happen, right? And that conversation sparked within the other HBCUs, especially within the SWAC, on like, okay, let's make that a trendsetter. Like, let's be able to, give our athletes, especially after the NIL deal, right? All the more reason to be able to have these athletes have their names being on their jersey. It's their jersey, right? And how many times have we seen players with the same number jerseys, even though they're on offense versus defense? Still have them have their name, right? And his excuse, or his reasoning rather, I don't want to say excuse, but his explanation, FAMU athletic director, was just like, that's not the FAMU way. And I'm like, that kind of bothers me, because I do understand tradition, right? I do understand values and morals, and what your mission is and how that shouldn't waver, right? No other outside extremity should be able to come in and change that. But it comes a point in time where, when you're constantly negating the benefits of change, I feel like now you're just becoming more ignorant than actually standing up for your values. You know what I mean? I don't think that you're necessarily being a traitor, so to speak, by inviting this beneficial change, because it's only going to bring, accomplishment and success for your program. Like, we're not asking you to fire every coach you have and start afresh. No, we're not asking for that, right? We're asking, BK, we see the benefit that it gives other athletes at different schools. We see that now that these athletes have the opportunity to monetize their accomplishments, not the schools, their accomplishments, their hard-earned, blood, sweat, and tears, on and off the field, on and off the court, on and off the mat, right? Why not celebrate them by, giving them exactly what could be able to only elevate their progress, their success? So, in essence, long drawn out explanation. Y'all know I'm passionate about what I be talking about. When I start talking about my hands, that's, y'all know it's about to be a ramble. But it's like, I don't know, like that's what I feel. I feel like they just need to look at it differently. We're not changing tradition. We're not, becoming something we're not. We're just, becoming better. We're improving, if anything. I feel like that's the way to say it.
Mhm.
Not changing, but improving. And improving comes with a little bit of change.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh,
Yeah.
what
that's my
about
TED
you,
talk.
Jerry?
So to piggyback off what she said, a big business, saying is companies must continue to evolve to stay relevant. They got to innovate and to stay and continue to be competitive. So the saying really is either you evolve or you become extinct.
Mm,
So to put tradition up as the reason why we're not doing things, that's kind of really irrelevant and kind of working backwards to me. Um, just because you're doing it for a long time, I mean, it's the right way, as we can see a lot of America's history. But
mm,
tying back to what I think is the biggest problem, it starts with recognition, but it ends with funding. We're getting the recognition now. We're getting more recognition than we usually or used to getting before, but now we have to get more funding. Me being an HBCU athlete myself, I've been through situations where we didn't have the pads. We didn't have hip pads. We had to cut hip pads to make knee pads. So it shouldn't be like that.
wow.
Times where we didn't have, laundry detergent to wash out our clothes. It was bad. It's been a lot of situations like that. So we need a lot of people to donate more money, and we actually need a better funding allocation. Because a lot of times we'll put funds in things that we don't need. I think that is a huge problem with HBCUs that has to be worked on. Knowing that you have a tighter budget, you have to know which and where to put your money. You can't just put your money in everything else like, Florida State is doing. When you got $10, you can't use 9 of it on, things that you don't need. So
Right.
I think fund allocation and funding is the main thing we have to work on.
Yeah. What about you, Ron? What's your thoughts?
Okay, I was about to say.
When you adjust your seat, I feel like you about to come with the
Yeah, because I was
wisdom
about
to
to
bless
I was about
the
to say the
children.
N word, which I probably do need to say it because some people don't understand certain type of language. Niggas need to stop being niggas, and that's what it comes down to. Because you got this person in the office stealing money, you got the other person in the office don't know how to do a job and telling you I don't know. Then you got another person over here the flirting with one of the coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a what's that word? I can't even think about it, but it's gonna come in my head. You got a whole bunch of hoopla going on, and the kids getting the gruff. Like old people say, all you giving me is gruff. Well, the kids giving you gruff because they don't have the facilities, they don't even have the clothes. So
I'm
they're gonna give you
dead.
some gruff. Shoot, I feel like this. You don't have to put alumni at the schools that they attended to and that they work for. As long as the person is right for the job, that's all I care about. As long
Yeah.
do you know how to do your job and do you know how to do it well? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that has jobs that do not know how to do them well. And like shout out to my boy Off Script for his show Off Script. If you want to watch it, go on YouTube Off Script. He said he talked to Dion and he said Dion said this: if a lot of people would stop telling me I don't know or I don't know how to answer that question and just do their job, these kids will be more successful on the field, in the classroom, and everything else. And
Yeah.
I believe that because I ain't trying to down fam, but I worked that fam. I saw what they needed, and it come to fruition. It did come to fruition after a while, but they needed it way back when. And,
Yeah.
Now we're just getting it. So
Right.
yeah, but that's enough gruff and hoopla.
I felt that in my soul, in my chest.
Flapjack.
Sure, but
This is Bridges on Top, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. The more y'all do that, the more page will grow. Shout out to Robin and Jerry. Description be down below. And this is Bridges on Top. Peace out.